The Texas sun burned mercilessly on the half-finished construction site. Dust clung to sweaty skin, and the sound of hammers echoed through the air. Among the workers, Jake Turner, a 25-year-old with worn boots and a quiet determination, carried cement bags heavier than his own dreams. His hands were cracked, his back ached, but his eyes burned with purpose. Jake wasn't just working for a paycheck. He was working for a future he could barely afford to dream of. Born and raised in Dallas, Jake grew up in a small trailer with his mother and younger sister. His father, a mechanic, died when Jake was 16. Overnight, Jake became the man of the house. He dropped out of high school to work roofing, welding, anything that paid. Life became a cycle of survival. But deep inside, Jake had a dream that refused to die. He wanted to own his own construction company one day, not just work on buildings, but build them, design them, make something that lasted longer than pain. It sounded impossible for a man with no education, no money, and no connections. But Jake didn't believe in impossible. Every night, after 12 hours of work, Jake would come home covered in dust and exhaustion. But instead of collapsing into bed, he'd open an old laptop, a gift from a neighbor, and study online. He watched free YouTube tutorials on architecture, project management, and business. His eyes burned, his brain screamed for rest, but he kept going. At 2 a.m., he'd finally close the laptop, whispering, "One day, this will pay off." Then he'd wake up 4 hours later and do it all again. Sleep became a luxury. Comfort became a stranger. But progress became his addiction. One evening, Jake's mother, Linda, sat him down at the small kitchen table. "Son," she said softly, "you've been working yourself to death. You need rest." Jake smiled faintly. "Mum, rest won't build our future," she sighed. "But I don't want to lose you chasing something that's killing you." Jake reached across the table and held her hand. "You won't lose me, Mum. You'll see me rise." Those words weren't arrogance, they were promise. Years passed. Jake saved every dollar he could. He skipped vacations, parties, and even meals. His friends bought new cars, new phones, and new clothes. Jake bought tools, books, and blueprints. He worked double shifts and took night courses in construction management. He failed exams, missed deadlines, and almost gave up more times than he could count. But every time he broke, he rebuilt himself stronger. He kept reminding himself, dreams demand payment. I'll pay with pain if I have to. At 29, Jake finally took his first leap of faith. He quit his job as a laborer and started his own small construction business, Turner Build Co. He had no employees, no office, and just $1,200 in savings. His first project was a garage renovation for a retired couple. He did everything: design, labor, painting, and cleanup, all alone. When he finished, the couple smiled and said, "Jake, this is beautiful. You've got something special." They referred him to a friend. That friend referred another. Slowly, jobs started trickling in. Jake worked day and night. He couldn't afford workers, so he did it all himself, hauling bricks by day, filling invoices by night. He lost weight, he lost sleep, but he was building something that money couldn't buy: momentum. Then came the storm. In 2017, Texas faced one of its worst hurricanes. Entire neighborhoods were destroyed. People lost homes, hope, and everything they had built. Jake's tiny company was also hit hard. His equipment was ruined, materials washed away, and every project was cancelled. He sat in his truck one night, rain pouring down the windshield, his bank account nearly empty. "This might be it," he whispered. "Maybe I've given everything for nothing." But then he remembered something his father had told him when he was a boy. "Son, hard work doesn't guarantee success, but quitting guarantees failure." Jake clenched his fists. "Then I won't quit." He used what little savings he had left to buy tools and drove across the flooded neighborhoods, offering free repairs for families who couldn't pay. People thought he was crazy, but Jake wasn't looking for money. He was looking for purpose. News spread. Local media picked up his story. Young builder helped rebuild homes for free after hurricane. Within weeks, donations started pouring in. Construction suppliers offered materials. Volunteers joined him. His company came back stronger than ever, this time with a reputation built not on profit, but on heart. By 33, Turner Build Co. had grown into a full-scale construction company with 50 employees. Jake was still the same man, humble, quiet, and hard-working. But now he was leading crews, winning contracts, and changing lives. His projects weren't just buildings, they were stories of resilience, schools, community centers, and homes for veterans. At a charity event, a local reporter asked him, "Jake, what's the secret to your success?" Jake smiled. "There's no secret, just sacrifice." Everyone wants success, but few are willing to pay the price. I paid mine with sweat, sleepless nights, and years of pain. But I'd do it again every single day. One day, his company received a massive government contract to rebuild a community destroyed by another hurricane. It was the biggest project of his career. As Jake stood at the construction site, watching hundreds of workers move under his command, he felt something deep inside him shift. He remembered the boy who once carried cement bags for someone else's dream. Now he was building his own. He walked to the edge of the site, pulled out a small, faded photo of his father, and whispered, "I made it, Dad." But it wasn't easy. He looked up at the rising sun. His face was tired, lined, and weathered, but his eyes still burned with fire. Because he finally understood the truth. Greatness is never given, it's earned, paid for in full by sacrifice.